What's up everyone, my name's Luke and today we're going to be doing the first UK range test on the Onewheel GT. May even be the first in Europe, so I'm super stoked to try it out. Now just so you guys know, I weigh around 170 pounds, my board is at factory PSI which I have confirmed to be 20, and I'm going to be riding in flow. I'm not going to be going super hard, but I will be going between 15 to 20 probably most of the time. And I'm super excited to try this out and see what this board can do on a variety of terrains. So let's go and shred. I've been in your waters. Okay, so initial impressions on the Onewheel GT. So a little bit of backstory about myself. I've been riding XRs and Pints for 2.5 years, and this is actually only the third time I've ridden the Onewheel GT. But what I'm already noticing is straight out the box, you've got these amazing concave front and back foot pads, and the grip that they've used in the GT is far superior to the XRs in my opinion. The grip is so good, and in combination with the concave, it feels so locked in. So I'm feeling super confident on the board, and I'm loving it, and I can't wait to see how the rest of this ride is. Okay, so we just rode some pretty insane single tracks, and one thing I really am noticing so far, considering this is only my third ride, is how it has that punchy torque that I love, but then it keeps pushing up to XR speed and beyond, so this thing is insanely fun. And also, with this new tyre that they've used, I personally purchased a slick, because I ride slick all year round, but the way they've created its shape, it feels super maneuverable, and I'm getting around corners with ease, and I feel like the tyre's got more to give. So I really am enjoying it, but the only thing I am noticing is, to make this tyre last a long time, it feels quite like the Pint tyre did, and it means it's quite a firm compound, which means great, it's going to last a long time, but it is stiffer, and it does feel like it, over the bumps, it is getting bucked around a little bit, but this can be fixed by reducing the PSI, but then you've got to remember you'll be losing a bit of speed and range if you do that. So the stock tyre is great, but it's one thing to think about that it is quite a hard compound. Couple more miles now, but another thing that I really am noticing on the GT is just that power. The XRs had 2 horsepower, the GT has 3, and you really can feel that, because obviously they're only small boards, so an extra horsepower really does go a long way. Now this motor is absolutely insane, it feels so locked in, it feels so under me, if that makes sense. So I'm hitting some big routes, but the board's not even surging or nosediving at all. It just feels so solid and like it's got me in it, and it really is confidence inspiring. So yeah, I'm loving this so far. absolutely crushed that hill. And now what I'm noticing about the GT is it feels like it has so much power in reserve. Like, I was going up the hill maybe 15, but I've been going up hills at over 20 miles an hour on this board and on this ride. And it feels like it's not even surging or struggling at all, because with that extra horsepower and this extra battery power, there's way more in the reserve to prevent it from nosediving. Now, obviously, it still can nosedive because that's physics, but I am really enjoying this board, and it just feels like it's going to crush every hill I put it against. And with the extra power, the braking feels really good as well. Yeah, we were absolutely ripping back there. Now, this leads me perfectly on to talking about pushback and how the Onewheel GT is different from the other boards. Now, as we all know, the XR tried and true, we love the gentle pushbacks. It allows us to push to crazy high speeds, but when you're a newer rider, people can not notice that pushback because it is so subtle, and that can lead to nosediving crashes, which we obviously don't want, because we want everyone in the community to be safe and being stoked. So what they've done, when the GT first came out, it was just like the Pint. It was super aggressive, and it wasn't fun. It was just like bucking you back every time, Captain Morgan. So what they've done is they've released a new update, and I'm loving it. Yes, it's still not as subtle as the XR, but the way it comes on, it's much better. Around 19.5, 20, it comes on really gently, and by around 22, it's in quite hard. But because it comes in so gradually, you can gently apply pressure to push through and get to higher top speeds. So it's not XR gentle pushback, but you can learn it and you can get to some crazy high speeds. I mean, some people in the community are hitting above 30, so I'm having a blast on it, and this thing absolutely rips. Okay, so we've now just done over 10 miles on our ride so far. So looking at the app, we've done 10.3 miles and we're at 54%, and it predicts I'm going to get another 10 miles. So that does mean, at the moment, it thinks we're going to get 20.3 miles. Now, the GT is advertised to get between 20 and 32 miles depending on how you ride. Now, I'm not a gentle rider, I do like to shred, and I'm pushing it, trying to get some slashes, you know, bonks, all these fun things that I enjoy to do. But that's obviously not going to be the best for range. But I am at 20 PSI, so far it is going to live up to a minimum of 20 that it promises. But that was at the beginning of our ride when I was pushing a bit harder and more up and down hill. But now we're on a smooth, flat cycle path that actually used to be an old railway. So it's super compact, and I reckon we're going to get above 20 miles. And I am absolutely loving it. Okay, so we're almost at 16 miles in, we're around 30%, so it's doing really well. The light bar is super useful, so I can keep checking it without having to use my phone. But the thing I am noticing now, my feet are starting to hurt, but that is normal because I have done 15 miles, so my feet would be hurting, but definitely these edges do get sore after a long time or high impact like drops. But luckily there is a product from One Trick Wheel called the Foamies that I'll be installing soon to help with that. But out the box, this board is great. You know, the grip tape is amazing for certain types of riding, and I'm really stoked on it. Just got the yellow light on the Onewheel GT, and we're at 19.5 miles, so it's looking very good to get the minimum of 20 that we're promised. So I'm absolutely loving it. My feet are hurting, but that's to be expected after riding this amount of time. Been hours on the board, having an absolute blast. You could get more if you ride more gently, but I'm really enjoying it, and it's the perfect balance of performance and range when you're riding at these kind of conditions. So we've just crossed over the 20-mile mark. We're at 20.1 miles and we're at 11%. So we've achieved the minimum that we're promised with the GT specifications. Obviously, you could have more ideal conditions with a lighter rider or more flat terrain, but for me, I'm really happy with the results so far. But I've got 11% left, a couple more hills to climb, so I'm going to take it easy and see what we can get out of it. 22.5 miles in. I don't have the safety beep on, but as you can hear, because we're at 1% and we're getting the battery pushback, the board is beeping. So that concludes the Onewheel GT range test in real world conditions. So according to my board, I've done 22.7 miles, and according to the app's recording, I've done 23.5. So either way, we've exceeded the minimum of 20 that we're promised with this board. Now, obviously this could be improved if I was riding slower on flat terrain. Even a lighter rider could do better, and if I put it in a less aggressive riding mode. But considering I was in flow, up and down hills, a variety of speeds, stopping and starting with filming, I'm really impressed. And it's 19 degrees today, and the motor, the controller and the battery are still all super cool, so that's really impressive that you're not going to have any heating issues in these kind of conditions. So to conclude, I'm so stoked with what this board has achieved today, and I think it's only its third charge, so it hopefully will improve over time, but either way, I'm really happy with the stock PSI, the range that it gets. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please do like and subscribe for a lot more GT content in the works, and I'll catch you in the next one.